Welcome back. So today, we're diving into something pretty wild, the Highwire Act that is modern India. I mean, think about it. This is a country walking a tightrope between global superpowers, and at the same time, it's completely re-engineering its economy and its whole tech scene from the ground up.
So that really is the big question here, isn't it? How on earth does a nation juggle all of this at once? You've got it courting opposing superpowers, embracing and restricting global tech, and overhauling its entire economy. It's this incredible pother of strategy, ambition, and let's be honest, a ton of risk. So let's get into it. All right, first up, the global tightrope. This is really where the balancing act kicks off, on the world stage. India is in the middle of this incredibly delicate diplomatic dance. And you know what? The steps are getting more complicated literally by the day.
Just look at this. It's a perfect example of the puzzle. On one side, you've got India warming things up with China. After years of really serious border tension, they're now agreeing to resume direct flights, trying to get trade and investment back on track. But then you turn around and things are heating up with the US. Why? Because American officials are putting on the pressure, demanding India stop buying Russian crude oil.
And we're not talking about some quiet, behind-the-scenes pressure here. No way. The U.S. Treasury Secretary came right out and said it, accusing India of profiteering from Russian oil. I mean, that is really strong language to use between partners. It just perfectly shows that incredibly fine line India is forced to walk between its own energy needs and its big strategic alliances. So with all that pressure from the outside, it kind of makes sense that internally, India is making some absolutely massive moves. It's all about re-engineering its economy to really cement its place as a global powerhouse. Okay, so what's with this number, 5? Seems simple, right? But this number, it represents a truly monumental shift in global manufacturing, and it all revolves around one of the biggest, most recognizable companies on the planet. Yep, you're seeing that right. We're talking about Apple. The plan is for the entire US-bound lineup of the iPhone 17 to be made in India. That's going to leverage 5 factories, including 2 brand new ones. Now, for Apple, this is a huge strategic play to diversify its supply chain away from China. But for India, wow, this is a game changer. It's way more than just a win for their Make in India initiative. It's a signal of a massive realignment in global tech manufacturing, and India is positioning itself right at the heart of it. But it's not all about attracting these huge foreign companies. At the same time, the government is looking inward at its own domestic system, and they're planning a pretty major overhaul of the tax code, all with the goal of making things simpler and really kicking growth into a higher gear. So what are they targeting? The Goods and Services Tax, or GST. Right now, it's known for being incredibly complex, a whole bunch of different tax slabs. The new proposal, which people are calling GST 2.0, wants to strip all that down to a much simpler 2-rate system, just 5% and 18%. Now, there'd still be a higher 40% tax on things like luxury items and sin goods, but the core idea is to boost spending by making the whole system way more predictable and easier for everybody to navigate. Okay, so we've seen how India is re-engineering its economy, but when it comes to the tech world, things get complicated. It's a bit of an open doors, closed gate situation. It's like they're rolling out the welcome mat with one hand and slamming a gate shut with the other. All right, check out this price. 399 rupees a month. For perspective, that's roughly $4.50 US. It might not sound like a lot, but what it represents is a massive strategic move from one of the biggest names in AI. We're talking about OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. They just launched their most affordable plan ever, called ChatGPT Go. And guess what? It is exclusively for India. That is a clear sign they are going all in on the Indian market, trying to make their tech accessible to millions of new users. That's the open door I was talking about, a huge open door. And then, in the very same breath, this, a proposed blanket ban on the entire real money gaming industry, a move that would essentially shut down a whole sector of the digital economy. So you see the contradiction. On one hand, you're welcoming in the world's biggest AI company with open arms, and on the other, you're proposing to ban a thriving industry. It's a real paradox. And you have to remember, none of this high-stakes stuff happens in a vacuum, right? All these big global and economic moves are happening while the country itself is just in constant motion. It's juggling the immense day-to-day complexities of domestic politics and just, well, life. Just to give you a quick snapshot of what that looks like on the ground, while all this global strategy is going on, there's a dynamic political opposition that just nominated its candidate for vice president. And at the exact same time, the country's financial capital, Mumbai, is on high alert for flash floods from these relentless monsoon rains. See, these aren't just separate news stories. They're all part of the constant internal pressure that has to be managed while you're trying to perform that high-wire act on the world stage. So this brings us right back to the beginning, to this incredible high-wire act. India is charting its own path, and it's doing it by balancing global powers, its own economic ambitions, and all these domestic realities. The real question isn't just if India can keep its balance. The real question is, where is this high-wire act headed? Where is this incredible journey ultimately taking the nation?